Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 26 of our Let's Play series, Gary Grigsby's War in the East 2, 1941 scenario as the Soviets. Find ourselves September 7th of 41 and turn 12 as we work our way through the second half of our ground movement phase. So we're going to be dealing with the south half of the front in this turn, but also we're going to be looking at allocation of reserve and reinforcement units and where we want to kind of plot those in their arrival. We might also take a look if time kind of allows at leader assignments too, but I'm not sure we will because the AI usually takes a while for their turn to run through. So let's jump right on into it. We left off last time just south here of our Yol, and overall this entire pocket just west of Kursk I've been exceedingly happy with. And every turn that passes is just to our benefit as we sit here and we continue to improve our fortification levels. I mean, you can see now that for this little pocket we have pretty much every frontline unit is dug into at least fortification level 1, and almost half of them are dug into level 2, which is really amplifying the value of each of our soldiers in these hexes and their defensive prowess. So really excited to see that work continue. And then what that means is that it's allowed our layered defenses here to also continue digging in. So that way, even once this front line does have to withdraw, we're quite fortified even once we get behind that. So I honestly wasn't expecting this type of result here west of Kursk, because this terrain, as with much of the south, is just so open. And when we look at the battle results too, it's not like they haven't done anything. I mean, they didn't throw their full weight of themselves against us or anything, but here, you know, there were 2 engagements. Here they lost 65 men, here they lost 220. Looking a little to the south here, just scouting us, but they lost 367 men and 3 armor. Let's just continue looking at that, and all the way down here too, we also see that we managed to just kind of hold the line. 175, 330, 40, 172, right? So that's just... it's a lot of gradual attrition for the Axis forces, and in these 3 hexes here, they didn't manage to break through at all. So I mean, that was really good news. But then we get to the south and we'll see there were a number of areas they did break through, and it's not quite as pretty of a picture once we get south of Kharkov. So let's focus on the good times right here. I don't see any changes that I want to make. We've got our Western Front sitting up here. HQ wise, I actually think we're probably looking pretty good. 37th Army's there. 43rd Army is here. So we could maybe move them up here to get in contact with these 2 units. So let's actually check this out. There's not any nearby depots, and when we look at where these units are getting their supply from, bulk of it's coming from this depot that we have down here. These 2 units are being supplied up here. So let's see if we move our HQ back here, what that looks like. I think that's better. It gets everyone in range of the HQ. These units are on reserve, these 2 airborne brigades. But really one of their biggest contributions was getting this hex up to a fortification level of 1. And then we see here there's still this gap in our line, but really kind of okay with it because they have to really expend a lot of fatigue, movement points, etc. to come into this hex, and even once they do, there aren't that many places they can go without again running into us. So I'm not too terribly concerned about that. If we had recon, though, that showed, right, that there were a whole bunch of mechanized or panzer elements in this area, I might feel a little differently because they might be able to get through and really attack in the rear a little bit and get behind us. But they're infantry units, I'm not quite as worried about that. And actually, I think what we might do is just to kind of protect ourselves a little from something getting a little too crazy there, is what we will do is take this airborne unit here. We will again, no, I'm actually going to take them up to here, set them on reserve, But then this rifle division I'm going to bring south here. And I'm going to let them start to dig into this hex. Yeah, I like that a little better. And then over here, oh my. Yeah, that's not the greatest, is it? Let's see if we can't maybe... Your HQ's all the way down there, but we can change that if we need to. I'm actually kind of tempted to just... I can't disband you. I don't think 370 men is going to have any meaningful impact. So what I am going to do, though, is turn you off of refit. And again, I don't know if you'll even be able to get anything done there, but we're just going to put you in the middle. We'll assign you to... Let's just toss you in the 43rd Army. That's fine. Back here we have these 2 HQ units. They're good. And then along the frontier, we might want to start looking at, up here we've done a really good job of a layered defense. We haven't done that here in the line, so we might look at maybe taking from 2 of these stacks a unit off to start fortifying. So let's take one of the weaker ones, like the 145th Rifle Division. It's on refit status anyways, which we can take it off of that because it's got 11,000 men now. And we'll set you on reserve and put you there. And then I think we'll do the same thing here with the 197th. So we're just going to bring you back. Hopefully you can start digging in before they break through. These 2 units are both on refit. That's not great. So there's really nothing across from them here. So maybe we'll be... I don't think we'll be okay. So let's see if we can't take maybe the 87th Rifle Division south. And then we'll take one of these units that's on refit and move them north. Do the tank division north. There we go. So then the entire defense of that hex isn't dependent on 2 units that are considered in an unready status. And honestly, what I might do here... So if we take the 200th off, we lose 2 defensive value. I think I'm going to bring you back here, honestly. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. This is good. We're starting to get some layers in here. Do I need 2 here? Probably. That's fine. This is another area that if they don't attack in the next turn, I might actually pull this unit back. Just because geographically it's leaving itself just a little isolated. We'll see. If we can get these up to 2s, then certainly I'll pull them back. But for now, we'll keep them there. That's fine. Looking further south, this is just outside of Kharkov here. This mechanized unit, we're going to leave them because they're really well dug into that position. And they would need to throw everything they have to maybe have 2-to-1 odds against us. And we've got the tank division in reserve here, so I'm actually liking how all of that's looking. We've got these HQ units. Really, we did a lot of this in the previous 2 turns where, or the previous 2 turns where we were trying to get these units into good fortified positions. I can set you to reserve now. You can go to refit. You're on reserve already. Good. Oh, it's the armor probably that you're missing. Oh, wow. Okay. So we've already got fortification level 1 there with a full infantry division. Might make more sense for me to bring him over here. Take something weaker back. What could I do there? Because I want to get a unit in here so then we don't lose the fortification level. And I'd like to start fortifying this hex here. Actually, I might need more help in the south instead. So for example, could they come down here and start fortifying? We'll see what happens there. The axis is looking a little questionable here. Reserve. Toss you to reserve 2. You're on refit. So let's have you come up here. And we'll have this guy come forward. You come forward. And I need something right here. Now that rifle division's only 300 though. Oh, yeah. So if we look at the battle result, I think I know which one that was. So it was down here we lost these 2 hexes. You see at first we managed to hold, right? This is the 199th Rifle Division. I'm expecting that's what this unit is. And then in the second turn, my goodness, complete disaster. Just complete disaster. 8,000 men. Yeah, not good at all. Not good at all. This unit really is kind of way back there, but there's just, I don't have too much in between here. And you see they're starting to break out over here. So I've definitely got too many units here. So you're unready, so we're going to set you to refit and bring you north outside of Kharkov here. And then we'll reassign you to a more appropriate headquarters. Let's toss you in just the 4th Army, I guess. Not really a good situation we found ourselves in there. This cavalry unit going to move over here and set them to reserve. And then over here, I think we will leave the rifle division, but the 2 cavalry units we're going to bring back here. And this is just where things are looking really bad for us all along here. This anti-tank unit looks like most of their armor's down in this direction. So I think what I want to do is take take these HQs. Then I'm going to take that anti-tank battalion down here to that hex. Yeah, so they have some serious supply issues right now. But that won't last for too long. I can't really bank on that. That unit's depleted, so he's just fortifying. You're unready. So I think we'll bring you up here. Guess we'll set you to refit. This rifle division's unready, so we'll set you to refit. I think we'll have you come back here, because we have to start looking at Stalino. Between us here and the sea, there's not really anything of importance, but Stalino is of great importance. So I think we have to start looking at how we defend south of Stalino here. So I might even take you back here to this side of the river to start digging in. And then what units do we have here that aren't ready? I'm actually not looking too bad right here. Actually pretty happy with that. This unit's not ready. So let's take you back here. We're going to start kind of building up our defense of Stalino here, because they're going to start breaking through. So we're a turn or two ahead here, trying to build up our defenses. I'm really kind of half tempted to break through to that Wikines's motorized division. That's tempting. Should we? Let's do it. So we're going to take these 2 units and we're going to attack this Wikines's Panzer Grenadier division, or motorized division. They held. So now we're going to take the entire stack and do it again. Oh, that tank division doesn't have enough to do it. What am I missing? Really kind of committed now. But it doesn't look like we're going to break through. Bring that tank division up. So let's take this rifle division that's on refit back here. We'll get this mechanized division out of here too. Let's bring them back here. Take out this tank division, which is now in an unready stat. Great. Bring up this tank division. Have them attack. Alright, good. So that retreated them, and now that's opened up the line here to the city. Oh, excellent. Excellent. So now they haven't maintained their encirclement for that turn. So that's really good news for us. Okay. And then this unit. So instead of having just 3 different spots, 3 or 4 defensive value, I'm actually going to split this here. What do we have here? An infantry division. So I'm going to take this mountain rifle battalion down here to get that to 3. Then I'm going to send this guy here, this guy here. Yeah, okay. You're unready. Let's get you again, right, starting to at least form a fortification line that we can withdraw to near Stalino, so it's not just a complete rout as we go back to the city there. You can go on refit once you're there. Did I take care of everything up here? I think I did. I think we're okay. Could maybe make an argument to pull this unit back. But I don't know that we will. I think we're going to leave that. The argument would be to kind of close how wide this gap is here. But I also don't want to give up that fortification. I think we'll leave that. Yeah, we're going to leave that. It's just not looking good around here. Not looking good. Kind of feel like some of these two, like Let's get you in. Just need to start building some layers of defense here. It's gonna get tough real quick. These HQ units we're going to move back here. And take you guys back too. Just because I think they could pretty easily break straight through here if they did try to. Okay. What a mess. Let's actually set you on reserve. It's really going to raise your fatigue, but if it gets you safer, it might be worth it instead of losing 5,000 men there. Yeah, we're going to do it. Okay. So as we keep looking south, here in the city we're still looking quite good, but the flank is not. So the question is, do we take this tank division and move them north to prevent them getting on the side here? Because they're not going to get through over here. So if we move this tank division here, what does that look like? Only gave us 2. Still, 5 is something, and if they can get dug in this turn, then I think they stand a chance. I think they stand a chance. Then we should be able to defend the city from a direct assault, especially with what they're showing here in terms of defenses. Another question too is, how quickly do we start pulling back units here? And I think that answers pretty soon. It's like, let's take you back here. Take you back here. It's just time to start getting ready for the next layer of defense. We're going to do that with these fast-moving cavalry units. And instances here where we've got... I might have to leave that rifle division though, because that entire thing breaks if we take him out, but I'll at least get the airborne started to come back. But maybe take you out. Do kind of an every other type of thing, I suppose. And if I bring you here, can we start doing a line like this maybe? I'm trying to visualize what this would look like. So if I took, you're the much stronger unit there. I took you back here. And then we can bring in a unit over here. Yeah, okay, let's keep doing this. You come back here. Do we want to pull back? to stay on refit. Okay. So, I mean, they can certainly try to cross a river, go into a swamp territory well in the zone of control of 2 different units. They're welcome to do that. But I'm looking at these situations here, and even if 1 or 2 of these do get completely cut off, we're looking at losing 3 to 7,000 men, right? But we do have enough here now to at least slow down their advance and maybe buy some time to start digging in back here in a new position. It's kind of how I'm approaching this problem. Now we also have to look at the defense of the Crimea, which, my goodness, they really just broke through here. I think what we're going to do, so this hex is one of the vital ones. I'm thinking this unit we just disband. Yep, I'm gonna disband you. And then you're in an unready stat. For sure I can get my HQs out of here. Right? I mean, they're not doing anything by being on the frontline unit. They're not contributing anything. Get the 51st Army out of here too. Bring them over here because they've got more of these units here to the north. This tank division that's unready. Just going to do a refit and bring you maybe over here. I think we'll do that. The HQ, we can again bring you back. So then what we're looking at is 2554. But then they break through here and it gets real tough then. You're in an unready too, my goodness. And you're unready. Okay. So let's look to move you back here, I think. So these 2 are on refit. You're both unready. My goodness, my goodness. I think the rifle division, the 106, I'm going to move here to this very critical hex. And we'll leave you right where you're at in the hopes that you can build up a fortification here. You need to stay on refit? No, you don't have to. Toss you to reserve. You need to go into a proper army here. Toss you in the 9th Army. Okay. This tank division, which is on reserve right now, is only contributing defense value of 1. So I think what I might do is bring them back 1 hex and let them be on reserve. They're probably going to break through this hex. They will likely break through this hex too this next turn, but I don't know that they'll have enough to get through these as well. That'll be the real question. Over here, I'm really looking quite well off. No concerns about any of this over here. Don't think it hurts to put you on reserve. Same with all of you. You might be in range to help with some of these. Let's send the cavalry division on reserve because that's within range. Mountain division's part of the front line, so I don't want to do that there. You need to go to a refit status. You can start digging in there. Okay. Actually, I want to move you up 1. Because I'd rather have the fortification in this hex. And then with that, let's so the 9th Army has the most men. Let's move you up here too in the hopes that you can help with digging those fortification levels. This is really kind of a choke point for us, as is this ferry crossing here. So yeah, let's see what we can do. This is the path of least resistance for them. And then by the time they get over here, they're probably going to get both of these up to at least 2, maybe 3, which is really going to help us. This is swamp, right? So we get that up to even 1. That's going to be pretty tough for them to break through. Yeah, okay. Don't think there's too much more we can do there. So let's take a look now at our reserve and theater boxes. So real quick, we'll just hop through them. So northern theater box, ground commitment high, air commitment medium. So it looks like air could probably be a little higher. For Transcaucasus, we're actually not doing too bad there. Far east is red, mostly because of air. So I think what we'll do is we'll look to say, let's bring some air units over to the Far East. Send maybe 3 fighters and 3 fighter bombers to the Far East. So hopefully that gets them up to a better stat. And then in the northern, I think we could probably toss, we'll do at least 1 fighter and 1 fighter bomber to them. Okay, so there's that. Going back to the front now, what we have to decide is where are we going to put in our reserve units, because we finally have that infantry ready. And I don't think there's really any question about it. It has to be to the defense of Moscow. This is the scariest part of the map right now. And looking at all these stacks of panzer divisions that they have moving towards Moscow, how we're starting to get kind of worse off compared to the calendar dates, I think we have to throw a huge wave of reinforcements in between us and Moscow right now. And then also maybe a few units that can be diverted over towards kind of this Tula defense, because they could easily get past Tula, go up here into this open country, and more easily come along the flank of Moscow. So let's look at places that we can actually bring those units in. And because we're going to have so many, one of the key things we have to look at is what will the supply situation be like. So we'll turn on our depot overhead. So it looks like we have a depot here. It's not too large, and it looks like we're having a little bit less usage or availability here on the railroads going south here. For here, this looks much more promising. 385 trucks with the depot there too. It's far enough away too from the front line. This is going to be too close. So I think we're going to have to send them here. So let's set this as our arrival hex. And let's go shopping for reinforcements. So unfortunately, when it comes to armor, we're just not producing enough armor for really any type of tank division, support battalion, etc. We do have these 2 units, which I think came in through kind of the reinforcement box, so we can assign those to the map. So that'll give us some armor to play with, and I might be able to then send them towards Tula, right, where it's a little bit more open country and they might fare a little better. I think that might make sense. Motorized units, again, we'll probably do the same thing here because of their mobility, where we might send them a little bit more east towards the defense of Tula. But waiting that turn and not sending any of those kind of half-baked units, I think, is probably a good decision on our part. We have a motorcycle regiment we can get out there, so that'll be useful. And then infantry, rifle divisions. So we're going to go through and just really say probably anything 70% or greater we're going to toss into it. Here it's 68. We'll come back to the 68s. We might let the 68s wait another turn. This is going to be so nice to see all of these fresh units coming onto the map. Full strength, 10,000 men each. My goodness, what a sight. Got quite a few of them too. And I'm thinking I'm just going to use these to build an entire wall where they can start fortifying. And then we can kind of use that then as a baseline to pivot or retreat in other areas around it. Right, so in some cases we might have to send our units as we pull them back to the flanks of this line. We might have to send them behind the line to start building fortifications for a layered defense, etc. But we're just going to use that as kind of our reference point, our focal point, to then make decisions about the remaining units that are on the field. And I'm just getting so giddy looking at this and seeing like combat value of 5, like, oh my goodness, yes, 5 combat value. It's probably the strongest thing I've got the entire map on here right now. This airborne unit, yep, you're 100%, you're going into the fray. If I could click properly, there we go. Cavalry divisions. Yeah, we'll take some of these in. And again, I can use them probably towards Tula with their mobility. Right, and they can start building some of that layered defense behind our current front line. I think that makes sense. That's actually worked moderately well for us in the south. Okay. So that is a lot that we have thrown in there. So supplies will be an issue as they first come in. Just because it's way more than that depot is going to be able to supply. But we can at least start getting them moved. And I'm thinking just kind of, if you follow my mouse real quick, just this line we can start building here that really is a little bit in front of Rzhev and Tula, right? Think of imaginary defensive line here going from outside of Rzhev all the way down to Tula. We'll start building with these forces. And then anything here, right, over time can slowly start to retreat behind them as their positions are overrun. And then on the flanks, we can probably start pulling them back at the appropriate time to start digging in on the flanks or do future reinforcement schedules to, for example, in between Tula and Aryol might be the next area where we need to look at just because it really exposes the southern flank of Moscow. When we're looking Rzhev and northwest of Rzhev, I'm really not too worried because this is much more difficult terrain for them to get through. So even if they did suddenly start pressing to try to come in on the northern flank of Moscow, I feel confident that because of the terrain, we'd be able to slow them down much more easily. And then up here around Leningrad, this might be another area of consideration where we might say that in the following turn, this is where we send some units. It's all going to depend, I think, on how our end of turn resolution goes here now today. But I think we could probably bring in some units just north here by Lake Ladoga and maybe sneak in some more rifle divisions to help with this defense. But I'm really hoping we've built a strong enough defense here to hold at the turn resolution. On that note, we'll do the AI depot management and we will see what surprises are in store for us. Hopefully not too many. I've got that whole upbeat, optimistic tone to me again right before I click that end turn, so we'll see how long that will last. Going through their logistics phase right now, then their air phase, and then finally we'll get to moment of truth of what they do with their ground forces. I've been pretty happy with turn 12, though, I gotta say. I think it's gone pretty well for us. Overly optimistic probably right now about our our potential, especially given just how many fresh units. I mean, we probably sent in there 200,000 men in reinforcements that will be coming in this next turn. That's a pretty serious amount that will help bolster our defenses. And again, kind of goes back to a lot of the historical parallels that the war saw during this time too, where it just was the Axis, the German commanders and their high command just kept going, where do these new divisions keep coming from? Right? Like their initial pre-war intel estimates were just way off. It's something like half as many total divisions as they ended up fighting by 1942 is what they had estimated when they began Operation Barbarossa. So very historical that they're going to just find, for the next 6 months especially, division after division being thrown in on the Soviet side to fight them. And hopefully we just have enough men willing to stand between their front and Moscow and Leningrad. Leningrad's the other one. Obviously, lose Moscow, it's very tough to make the math work that will survive the game, but losing Leningrad also is another one where I don't know if, considering the concessions we made in the south of the map, I don't know that we could lose Leningrad. If we do, I think we're pretty much done. So, no pressure though. Let's just see how the turn goes. It looks real nice on the map right now with these fortification level 3s, defensive values between 20 and 60, and all of this. But I should probably just bite my tongue here. That, let's see what happens first before we get too excited about it. All right. So their logistics phase is now done. Air execution phase. May have just imagined that, but I think some of their air groups there got a lot closer to the front at the beginning of that. Here we see that the majority of their losses are coming from flak, because we just really didn't have too much in terms of air superiority missions being run, the availability for them in terms of airframes and such. So it's good that at the very least the flak is having some type of impact on their forces. But it looks like their priority continues to be getting good recon on us, which I would certainly want to do in their position, as they try to look for what are the weak points that they can allocate their massive panzer elements to really try to have an impact. I think that makes a lot of sense. About halfway through the week here. Looks like a lot of it was early week that they were doing the recon, but okay, here's the second and third wave. See if they do something on day 7 as well, I would guess. And we're getting some air combat losses for them, 3 up to now. They lost 25 operationally. Might have something to do with that rain. And at the end of the week here, they're still taking pictures of us smiling up from the foxholes. No weak points here, comrade. Just go right on around. Alright, we begin right around Smolensk with a result that is not that great for us. Right off the bat, they've pushed us back in one of the hexes, then we managed to hold in their second attack. They went for it a second time, still held. Keep hanging in there, guys. We can't let that pocket collapse and let those forces defending Smolensk be too surrounded. Keep holding. Good job. Good job. Another good defense. Oh, that's going to be too much for them. 66,000 men. My goodness. Alright, now they're pushing north. A little interesting. Instead of them going to completely cut off Smolensk, they're pushing north against our line. Question is, how far north will they be able to make it? Just need to, as much as possible, slow them down here. We are taking such heavy armor losses in these engagements, and they're having no losses in their armor. I think there's a third attack coming here that might break that line. Nope, managed to hold again. But I don't think they're done attacking there yet. I think there'll be more. Let's see, keep holding, guys. Some of these hexes they're attacking right now are so critical because they're the only point where we have that fortification and a moderate defense to really slow them down. And I think they recognize they need to get rid of them for them to be able to move and break out past those units. This opening that we've got right here, though, scares the crap out of me. Oh, and now we're up in Leningrad. And that jumped pretty high up in the AI turn percent done, so I'm hoping there's not a whole lot more coming, but I'll jinx myself by saying that. Shoot, so they broke through there. Rout at the Rifle Division, retreat at the Cavalry Division. Now they're attacking kind of towards the defensive line of Leningrad itself. We really need to hold that hex. That corner hex is so important to us. Keep holding, guys. Fortification level 2. If the fortification level stays at 2, we should be okay. Just keep holding. No. Okay, so fortification level dropped, lost 7,000 men, and they pushed through. Not good. Not good. They're continuing to push north. This is really going to be the test to see if they can get to Lake Ladoga and cut off the city, which would then prevent us from bringing in reinforcements in a future turn. We really have to hold here. Oh no, they broke through there too. So we are down now just to those, that one row of hexes that can defend our access to the city. They are going to hit those two hexes so hard this next turn. They might still hit them. I don't know why I'm jumping to next turn already. They might still hit them really hard. We have to hold that line. Have to maintain connection to the city. Oh, that was close. Come on, guys. Hold out. Keep holding. Keep holding. You can do it. I don't know why I'm cheering them on like a pep squad on the sidelines here. It's not having any impact, obviously. Probably for my own motivation to keep that optimistic spirit up right now. Still holding on, though. Just don't let them cut off the city this turn. Give us one more turn to build up a defensive line there. Oh, well, that's a little cheating. We were at 31% done, then it jumped to 26. What's up with that? Let's see. What are they moving around now? I'm a little curious if they're not doing any offensive operations in the south. Let's just get past this, then we can wrap up the turn and we're all good. Let's just hold that connection to Leningrad. Don't let them reach Lake Ladoga. The silence now without hearing their troops moving is always a little concerning too. they really not going to do anything else in the southern half of the map? The area of the map that we spent our entire turn organizing? I'm not asking them to. I mean, I'm fine if they don't. I'm just shocked. Yeah, I should just shut up. See, here we go. Well, this isn't really south of the map, though. This is over by Rzhev, south of Lake Ilmen. Managing to hold there, this is good. Keep that up, guys. Keep that up. I really don't think they have much chance at all of breaking through in that hex. If they attack to the south or something, I could see them maybe getting through, but not there. And it looks like, okay, so what we're seeing here too is a lot of artillery and cannon. Yeah, so why did I give them any advice at all? They broke through to the south. But really, that's okay. There are so many hexes with defensible terrain there that we can just pull back to. I'm not at all concerned about that. Starting to feel like this turn will never end. Really have a lot of concerns about Leningrad now. I'd really like to be able to next turn do reserve units up there that can come in and try to get in and help the defenses of the city. Because not only are they on the doorstep of cutting us off via Lake Ladoga, they also have penetrated on the one side of our defensive line of Leningrad too, so it's not like I can throw everything possible towards maintaining a connection to Leningrad next turn. I now also need to look at patching up the hole we have in our line. Here they are just north of Smolensk making some progress against us. Oh! And they just took Smolensk. My goodness. I had really hoped we could have caused them more difficulty than how that appeared to have gone down. Well, shoot. Looks like we had lost about 6,000 men in that attack, too. And they lost significantly less. I'm really a little surprised by that, but I can only assume it was all the armor elements that they had that just overran the city. They continue attacking around the flanks of Smolensk, but for the most part we're holding. Let's see where we hop to next on the map. They've had a lot of success this turn. Doing that kind of reverse psychology with the computer here. We're having some reserve units come in and help there, and that's really making an impact, it looks like. Good, good, good. Keep holding them off, guys. It's a very good hex to hold them on. They've got a lot of artillery there that are kind of hammering us, though. Oh, no. Okay. So, they broke through with that motorized division. I might again see if we can't cut him off. And I'm hoping that my reinforcements, some of them can make it down there. That might be what I end up having to use, like, those tank divisions for. But... yeah, that's concerning. That's concerning. Keep holding, guys. We need to do a bit of an evac here of some of those defenses around Smolensk. if they break through that hex, which is the weakest point in the line right now, they'll be able to probably encircle about 5 divisions. I'll be able to get some of them out, but we won't be able to get them all out due to the zone of control and movement point restrictions. So we really need to hold that hex. In some ways, it's probably good news that they went north to try to get in and around behind us, because they could have used those forces instead to cut off and encircle the forces around Smolensk. But they're going for the double here. They think they can do both in the same turn. Let's hope they're wrong. This is over by Aryol. Looks like they're seeing what they can get done over there. Without really any luck at all, I might add. Yep, no, we're still holding. Looks like they're trying to go around that infantry division that has fortification level of 2. Here you saw they had moved up about 1 or 2 hexes further north towards Tula, where we had kind of evacuated that ground, as we really didn't have any defensive position to rely upon. I think the big difficulty we're going to find in the next 2 turns around Smolensk is that now we just, so much of that rail line connecting them is just taken apart. There's the road, but that's it. So I think supplies will start to become an issue for us. Well, still holding. See where the next attack will come. We still have not seen any action south of Aryol. And the AI's been at this for a good 10-15 minutes. I really hope it's just that one motorized unit here, and that they don't have additional panzer units that are able to break through. So if it's just their one unit, I can keep them cut off for a while. But if they brought in additional panzer units into that pocket, it's going to be really tough to maintain that. Here we're seeing some action by Kursk and Kharkov. So far we're holding the line in that point. It is kind of one of the weaker points, just defensive value of 3. Like we had talked about, around Kursk and south of Aryol was really happy with the defensive position, but as we get towards Kharkov, things are a little more questionable in terms of how our defenses are established. Okay, so here they're attacking the forces that re-establish contact with Dnipropetrovsk. 2 attacks so far, still holding, but defensive value is really kind of going down with those guys after they were on the offensive in the previous turn. They can keep holding. That's a big win, though. Big win. This is south of Kharkov. Managed to hold. Again, they're attacking with a lot more than what we should be able to probably defend against. But we're holding for now. Let's hope we can keep that up. Looks like they're trying to go around our armor unit that we have there. Okay, that time they retreated it. The losses weren't too bad, so I'm not too terribly disappointed with it. We had a unit come into reserve that really probably helped us there. Another unit in reserve that's helping. again, our reservists are really helping out and helping us hold that hex. They probably would have had overwhelming odds that would have forced a retreat if it hadn't been for all of these reserve units coming in to help. And that's why we do that. That is why we do that. Again, we have help there. Fantastic. Just fantastic. Yeah, looks like we're getting really good ground support too from our air wings, which is good to see. Losing a ton of airframes, but at least we're getting the good support. Yeah, they attacked north. They're trying to break through there instead. Keep holding, guys. If we can hold here another turn, that really helps us with our layered defenses. This is just west of Kursk. Looks like they brought up the 10th Panzer Division. This is just west of Stalino, south of Kharkov. Yeah, again, they're trying to break through there. Just keep holding, guys. It is so important if you can hold there. Oh my goodness, I don't know how much more they can take. Just keep it up. Keep it up. Managed to hold there. That's a new hex they're attacking. They came north again, but were unsuccessful. It had a reserve unit, the 361st Rifle, come in and help there. Right. Poof, managed to hold. Nope, by the way, they don't get any bonus points now for taking the city because we managed to hold it that one more turn. That is great news. We're trying to flank a little bit now our current position where we have that higher fortification level. It might be a little too late. Our reserve units are again really stepping up here. So this is a little further south. Again, they're trying to flank the city. Didn't have too much success there, though. Yeah, again, holding just fine. North of the city, they're trying to flank now. Keep holding, guys. You're doing good. You're doing really good. Still held. They lost 537 men there. South of the city, not a problem. Keep it up. Doing okay, guys. Keep it up. Almost 20 minutes into their attack here. They lost 2,000 men in that attack. Wow. That was them attacking the city directly, it looks like. This is them now attacking some of our defenses along the Dnieper River. We're holding so far. So that's good. That knocked us down a little in our defensive value, it looks like, with that latest attack. Let's hope it doesn't set the stage for a breakthrough. Oh, Mechanized Division came in with, or sorry, 30th Cavalry Division came in as reserves to help out. Look at that teamwork. There they are again. Good stuff. Yeah, they're attacking the armor divisions we have there, but we managed to hold. This AI turn feels like it will never end. My goodness. Please, let it stop. And they haven't even gotten south to the Crimea yet. Just keep holding, guys. If things ended right now, I think it'd be a huge victory for us. They lost another 1,000 men there attacking the city. Instead of trying to flank, they're just trying to go straight forward, it looks like, with some of these attempts. Which is a little dangerous, because we did pull units out to defend that northern flank, right? We took that armor division out of the city and put it on the northern flank. Looks like finally they managed to break through in that hex. The really good news for us, though, is it's not a terribly important hex that we were defending. So I'm really kind of okay with losing it. We're at a point now where Leningrad worries me, them getting behind us around Smolensk worries me. But everything else that I've seen, I'm really happy with. So if we could just end it now, please. Of course, they're not gonna give me that courtesy, I don't think. I'm a little surprised, too. They've had 3 or 4 turns of really aggressive offensives. And I would have expected them to be getting a little too far ahead of their supply train by now. I'm a little surprised by that. So here we are by the Crimea. Really critical hexes here for us to hold before they break through. We just really need another turn or 2 before they take these hexes, so that way we can have, at the choke points, the bottlenecks, sufficient defenses already set up to meet their attack. If they break through now, we're just not going to be in a position ready enough to defend those hexes that are so critical to protecting the Crimea. So let's keep holding them here as best we can. Well, they're doing pretty good. Again, really happy with the ground support I'm seeing here from our air wings. It's probably helping us considerably. Looks like they've got some cavalry divisions on the move. So we'll probably try to retreat this cavalry division now in the next turn, now that they're starting to get a little bit more aggressive on the flank there. There's some tense engagements. They've had some pretty heavy losses in some of these too. I haven't really seen us do any damage at all to any of their panzer divisions in the last turn or 2, which has been a little disappointing. But in terms of just fighting men, we seem to be doing a pretty good job in terms of the, I need to use the word, the trades in the battles. The ratios of losses seem to be doing pretty good. So let's hope that continues. Yeah, okay. Yep, so they've started to try to cut off this unit here. Hopefully there's still some type of escape path. If not, again, we made the decision knowing that it's going to maybe cost us 3,000 men that will eventually have to surrender, but it has really probably had an impact on these units and their ability to move because of their zone of control, and doesn't matter, they routed, we lost 3,000 men in one go, so yeah, that unit probably only has 100 or so men left in it, so. Okay. Well, at least we don't have the stress of trying to get it evacuated. Let's see. We are coming up pretty soon here to a half hour that this AI turn has taken. Here we go. All right. Yep. All in all, I think I'm okay with how that turn went. Yeah. We're going to take a look, breaking a little bit in the suspense tradition that I like to put you all through. I think we're going to take a look to see what Smolensk looks like and what Leningrad looks like. Because I really am curious, how much did they break through behind us? And I'm curious to see what the situation looks like around Leningrad and our defense of Lake Ladoga. Just have to go through our logistics phase first here, and then we'll be able to get over to that. All right, do the quick save here. So first we're going to take a look at what happened. Oh no, look at that. They broke through a whole lot of units. So that's not something we're going to be able to necessarily... Well, yeah, we probably won't be able to cut that off and contain it. We'll probably just have to retreat back and form a new defensive line around it, which is going to be really difficult for us, because that starts to cut into our kind of proposed defensive line between Tula and Rzhev. So that's really too bad. And then up near Leningrad, yeah, that's going to be tough for us. End of turn summary though, lost 77,000 men, 1,000 guns, 450 armor, 600 airframes. We see a positive net change in the order of battle of 220,000 men, whereas the Axis sees a net loss of 112,000. So that trend, if we can keep that trend continuing here for a couple months, again, would be pretty historical, and two, will be one of our keys to victory. So as a result of all those reinforcements coming in, we added 2,600 guns, 690 armor, airframes we were down 423, and looks like that probably had some impact because of the theater box movement that we did. For the Axis, they lost the 112,000 men, 940 guns, they lost 300 armor, and they lost 150 airframes. We've got 69 units under strength and 104 unready. I think that number's been improving a little. Let's see here. New events, Soviet partisans is all we've got, so they continue their fine work. Thank you so much, guys, for your support of the channel, the videos, and these fantastic games in the Gary Grigsby series. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, would love to hear from you down below in the comments section. And as always, strategy gamers, hoping you have yourselves an excellent day. Bye now.